I know that you're working hard trying to bring new clients into your practice. You're posting, creating content, creating reels. You are working so hard, but things just aren't sticking. No matter how hard you try, it's not resulting in the client flow that you would love to have. Hi everyone, I'm Castoffel, and today we are diving into exactly this topic: why your ideal clients aren't on social media and what you can be doing instead that will actually start to grow your practice. Thanks for being here with me, and this is Wellness Biz Academy. I know that you are working really hard trying to grow your practice. You are trying to do all the right things, you're following all the pieces of advice, yet you're still spinning your wheels. The client flow that you want is still elusive. You wonder why. And that's what today's episode is all about. On the back of a number of discovery calls recently, it has dawned on me that so many of you well-meaning practitioners are spending your time marketing on social media. And that is just not where you're going to find clients in this current market. So today we are going to be talking about this topic from a number of different angles. I'm going to call this episode "Your Ideal Clients Are Not on Social Media." And we are going to talk about what you can do instead to grow your practice. I have a number of notes I've written down here for you that I want to go through today. So welcome. Thank you for being here. You are either listening to this on the podcast or you're watching this on video on the YouTube channel. Either way, thank you for your support, and I'm so glad to have you here. Now, I know that you love social media. I get it. Every practitioner I speak to is on some sort of social media. Doesn't matter what channel we're talking about. Everyone is practically somewhere. It's very, very rare that I find a pracky who is not on social media. And you are not alone. I've got a stat here, and it's an unbelievable amount. So it says currently in 2025, this stat was from February this year. So currently there are 5.24 billion people who use social media worldwide. That is 63.9% of the entire world's population. 5.24 billion people. That is an awful lot of people, isn't it? That is a lot of people using social media. So I know it might seem to make sense then to be on those platforms because there's so many people there. You are spending a lot of time, a lot of hours creating content. Maybe you're following trends. I hear a lot about that. Following trends that are out there at the moment, how to grow your followers on different platforms. Maybe you're choosing algorithms. Maybe you're trying to create viral content. You want to go viral. But while you are spending all of this time and effort in marketing that is not resulting in your end goal, which is more clients in your practice, you aren't actually spending time on the things you should be using your time on. So we want to talk about that today. The bottom line is your ideal clients aren't going to be found on social media. Think for a minute about why you're there and why you're using the platform. You're there to relax. You're there to chill out. You're there to spend some time while you're waiting for your kids at soccer practice, ballet practice. Maybe you're on your lunch break and you just got some time to kill. Maybe you are, waiting at home for the tradesperson to come to fix the sink. It's not something we go to when we're actively searching for or researching for help on a certain topic. It is something that we're doing more as a form of entertainment, relaxation, etc. That is why you can't find a consistent flow of ideal clients there. The truth is, no one has ever looked at a post and gone, wow, those 5 tips of how to detox this spring, mind-blowing, let me book in with you. It's just not going to happen. In the past, when social media was a little bit newer and we didn't have tools like AI, content like that could have stood out, and sometimes it did. But in this day and age, when we have AI at our fingertips, that sort of content can be duplicated in a millisecond. So it's really meaningless. I call it disposable content because that's what it is. It is throwaway. You're putting it there for the sake of saying something. And if it doesn't get any traction, doesn't get much in the way of likes, etc., it disappears into the abyss and no one ever sees it again. So as much as there are a lot of people on social media, I would like to just point this out, that social media is a myth when it comes to generating clients. Yes, everyone is there. There's nearly 70% of the world population is there. But the people who you want to talk to, your potential ideal clients, people who are ready, willing, and able to invest in their health, They behave differently. They're not sitting on social media thinking, gosh, I wish I could just find a practitioner to spend an hour of time with. Wouldn't it be great if I could find somebody for $200 to have a chat to about my migraines? That's not what's happening. What they're looking for on those platforms, if they are searching for health advice, is quick fixes, free tips. Currently, we have less than 1% of social media followers coming across onto your website anyway. So that conversion rate's really, really low. The people that are on these social media platforms that are looking for the free tips, the quick fixes, they do not a good client make. They are a freebie seeker. That's what I call them, freebie seekers. They are not ready at that point in time to invest in their health by seeing someone. Now, great if you can manage to get them on your email address, on your email list, sorry, because then you can be nurturing them, working with them, and sharing more information around how you can help. That's how we nurture somebody from just sitting on our list to becoming a client. But 9 times out of 10, the people that you're finding on social media, they're the freebie seekers, they're the quick fixers, and they're not someone willing to invest in their health at that point in time. That's not where they're at in the journey, okay? Where your clients actually are instead is something that you need to start to deep dive. This will be slightly different for every business, depending on the niche that you serve, the type of clients that you help, the offers that you offer. Are you offering consults in person, online, etc.? All of those things will change the marketing process you need to take to be able to bring clients into your business. One of the things that everybody really needs to start to do is use your website. This is how I brought those 12 new clients in a 48-hour period into the practice without actually marketing or advertising. It was content. Having content on there, because these people who are actively looking for solutions, they are the people who are Googling their health problem at 10 p.m. at night or 1 a.m. in the morning when they can't sleep. Why can't I get rid of these chronic migraines? How come I've got insomnia? Is there a natural solution to my menopause symptoms? Those searches are what are going to lead people to your website. This is why you need to start making sure your content is on point. Content on your homepage needs to speak to the person and the problem so they can see themselves in it. You need to have service pages that talk about that. Don't leave it up to them to just infer. When we are offering them, great, you're on my website, I can offer you an initial consultation or this package, that person's having to infer, can you actually help me? But if you state that I work with people with XYZ condition, I'm very experienced in it, and this is the package for you, it's the hormone reset package, that's an entirely different content conversation, isn't it? And someone's much more likely to book that than they are to book a general consultation. So think about how people are Googling and what they're looking for. This is when they're actively searching, actively looking for solutions to their problems. You also want to think about professional networks. In this current market, how can we be accessing professional networks or referrals? Nothing has as much trust and credibility as someone saying, hey, you should see so-and-so. So think about those. Can you build professional networks? Can you reach out to local specialists, chiropractors, gyms, massage therapists, GPs, other practitioners who don't work in your niche? I know while I ran the clinic here, the physical clinic, I didn't really support hormone problems. It wasn't something that I worked with, but there was another practitioner near me who was very good at that. So everyone that came to me asking about that, I just immediately referred them on to her. So having those can be really useful. Thinking about how you can get yourself seen online, you're looking at the content you're putting out there. How searchable is it? How much can you be found? If you have a physical clinic, definitely using something like Google My Business is going to be very, very helpful. I say what you have to really focus on is the gold nuggets. The gold nugget in your toolkit to bring clients your way is your email list. If you don't have an email list or you're not actively using it, you need to change that. Because people that opt in and give you their email address, even if it is for a freebie, at least they're interested. Okay, they're interested enough to swap their email address with you for something that they see value in. Those are people that you can nurture along the process of eventually becoming a client. How long that takes can be anything. I've had people sitting on my list for 2 weeks who booked in. I've had people sitting on a list for 4 years before they booked in. Every person has a different journey. So you can't put an average time frame on it. But what you can know is there is a great conversion rate. If you have, open rates on emails are what? Anything between sort of 25 and about 65%, depending on your list. I tend to get about 45% on my current email list, but I've got clients who have got open rates up around the 65%. And then those click through rates can be really high as well. Compare that to less than 1% of people on social media who are seeing your post. There's an awful lot of work in the posts and the content you're putting on social media that's just falling in the abyss and no one's actually reading it. So don't forget to tap into your email list, your existing client base, okay? Be communicating with them. If the only time they hear from you is when you want to sell something, you're going to find it very, very hard to keep client retention and very hard to get referrals as well. You need to be nurturing them. Having that content on your website too, if you are running blogs or articles or videos, whatever it is for you, gives you something new and interesting that you can be sharing on an email to your list. So well worth doing. I've got some stats here that I want to share with you. So I've been asking a lot of questions of practitioners lately, how much time and effort they're spending on social media. So let me pull that up for you. I've got the notes here on my computer, because I call this the social media time trap. The social media time trap. Based on the people that I asked, and this is across, 20 plus practitioners the last few weeks, the average practitioner is spending a minimum of 2 hours a day on social media. They can be spending an exorbitant amount of time on something like creating a Canva tile. One practitioner said she spent the whole day creating one Canva tile. That's not very high impact, is it? It's not very impactful. So that's an awful lot of time to spend on social media content, particularly content that doesn't get traction. If you look at that across a week, that's about 10 hours. And so that's probably between creating content, posting content, writing the spiel that goes with it, having a bit of engagement, answering some comments, and liking and sharing some other stuff. That's about 10 hours worth of marketing a week. Marketing that's not giving results. That is a huge amount of time you could spend on something that does work. Something that does work. Thinking about your business, what could that be for you? Do you like to write? Can you be doing blogs? Do you like to be on video? Do you want to do a YouTube channel? Podcasts. Now, for a lot of practitioners, I've been asked lately, should I start a podcast? By and large, a lot of them, the answer is no. Unless you have a really well-defined niche that is quite different and stands out, absolutely go and start a podcast. But if that is not you, one of the best things you can do is actually pitch yourself to guest on other people's podcasts. There is a lot of them out there. So let's say that your target niche client is someone over 50 who's in menopause or perimenopause. There are so many podcasts out there that you could potentially guest on where you are speaking to the right audience. So think about that. I do want you to remember, when it comes to social media, the metrics. The follower numbers are great in terms of they will tell you if your content is getting some traction or if it's not. But overall, I like to say that they're just vanity metrics. They make us feel good. You can have 6-figure following and not be making a cent, or you can have a post that goes viral and it doesn't amount to clients. And, think about this. If you do finally go viral, that's that said and done. How are you going to keep going viral? It really doesn't make sense to be chasing those metrics because they don't result in clients in the door and revenue on your bottom line. So let's talk about why our health clients are a different breed. And I've got some notes here on that as well. There's a few things I want you to remember here. Health decisions, they're deeply personal, they're deeply private, okay? These are things that most people don't want to broadcast on public platforms. That can be why sometimes you're not getting a lot of traction. I've seen some practitioner posts that are trying to get engagement that are asking some really personal, private information about their hormones, about bowel motions, about all sorts of things. People aren't going to answer you. They're not going to want to do that. What people want, though, when they come to us, they want expert guidance. Okay, they want credibility, they want trust, they want to know we can help. What they don't want is influencer content. So again, don't get caught in that trap of creating influencer style content. And I have seen this before, where some very professional practitioners, highly educated, highly qualified, fell into the influencer trap. And then all of a sudden, the style of content went in such a way that it really eroded the credibility in the marketplace for them. And they had to come back to square one and actually rebuild their brand. So be really careful with that. The other thing to remember is that people that come to us for help, health-related help, They often research quite extensively before they pick a practitioner. They know a lot about their condition. They've researched different ways and means to treat it, who could possibly help, etc. They may not come straight away to work with you. They are very likely to download a freebie and then sit on your list for a little while. So while they're in that research and discovery phase, that's the time where you need to nurture your email list and give them reasons why you actually are the right person to help. That's the time to show them your credentials, your experience, and why you know how to fix the problem that they have. What is actually going to bring in clients in this marketplace? This is what I get asked. So there are a few things. First one is your website. I really believe that every practice, every practitioner needs a website. I know you're hearing different things out there, but it is to the modern day marketplace what Yellow Pages advertising was to the 1980s. You need to have a website. You need to have somewhere people can come. Okay, at the very least, a sales page or something like that. I know a lot of people are using platforms that can do lead pages and similar. Use those if you don't have a website. But a website that you can control the SEO on is going to be paramount to building your practice. Second thing I want you to have a look at is Google My Business. Make sure you get a profile on there if you have a physical clinic. If you don't have a physical clinic, you can actually still have a profile there. You need to contact through the support of Google, and you can submit various information. I had to submit a video working in the back end of my website to prove that it was a legitimate business. But that can be done really easily, and then you've got a Google business listing. Great thing about those is they come up higher than search results. And that's where you want to be. We know the higher up on the page, the better, because people don't waste their time going too far. The other thing you probably notice when you search for anything these days is at the moment there is an AI section at the top. And then the first few results tend to be YouTube videos. YouTube is actually the second highest search engine in the world, second only to Google. But the gap is closing. The gap is closing. It's going to be interesting to see if YouTube can take over Google. So this could be a great opportunity to put some content on a YouTube channel for your business, even if it is just 5 or 6 videos about the core things that you help with. It might help you to get some traction from an SEO point of view. Client testimonials and case studies. Now, I know we have to be careful about some of this. Things like our Google reviews, though, they're public. So every business has those. We can't stop people putting those there, and they're great for us for credibility. So they're a great thing to do. And as I said earlier on, don't forget to email your existing database. Don't forget. If you can't remember the last time you've emailed your database, then it's time to jump back in their inbox and send something. As I wrap up today's episode, I wanted it to be short and sweet and to the point, and for you to be able to take a few bullet points and go, right, I'm going to do this and I'm going to stop doing that. I want to give you permission to stop some things. The things that you can stop. Right now, you have my permission slip to let it go. You can stop being everywhere. Okay, let go of that need, that feeling that you have to be everywhere. It does not work. Okay, it doesn't work for you as a practitioner. You're much better to be more defined about the marketing channels that you use and use them properly. When it comes to marketing, quality over quantity wins hands down. You'd be much better to put a handful of posts every month up on social media that are good quality, based around your values, what you do, why you do it, the things that make you a really different practitioner. That's what you should be sharing. And your social media for me right now is, I don't want to say it's optional, but I don't think it's essential. I think it's the place right now to be putting some content up for branding. We know that if someone's looking to come and work with you, they are going to Google you. They're going to check out your profiles. If they come onto social media profiles and you haven't got a presence for your business, they don't bother looking any further. So having something there from a brand point of view that is very clear, very obvious, put a banner up. Okay, we don't want a banner of your kids or a banner of the dog. We want a banner that relates to your business, your practice, and the content that's on there has to relate to what you do, the core of what you do. Action steps for you today. This week, I want you to start to take notice. I want you to start to take notice of how much time you spend on things. How much time are you spending on marketing? Okay, let's be really honest about that. Track that. How much time are you spending on social media? And in 2 different ways, any marketing that you're doing, but also just down the rabbit hole. How much time are you gifting to social media that we could be doing and using more appropriately elsewhere? It happens a lot, and I get it. So let's really audit our time to make sure that we are spending some quality time on marketing and that we're not just falling down the rabbit hole of social media. I want you to have a think about where your best fit clients could possibly be found. Audit that, have a look at that, and start to rebuild your marketing plan around that. And the final 2 action points I want to put in front of you. Point 1, if you're not using Google My Business or Google Business Profile as it's now called, please start doing it. Investigate that and set up your profile and start to make use of it. And finally, the last thing I want you to do is, I'm going to sound like I'm rabbiting on, email list. Email list. Please pull out your email list, have a bit of a review. You might need to clean it up if it's been a little while, and email the people on your list. If it has been a little while, it might be nice to send an email out and just say, look, I'm going to get more active with this channel and I'm going to be dropping into your inbox every week or every fortnight with some great information and some tips. If this is something you don't want, please hit unsubscribe. That can be a really nice and polite way to restart your email marketing, and then get in the habit, be frequent with it and be regular. Okay, so in closing, I've just got a few points here that I really want to bring home for you. One is, your ideal clients are out there. They absolutely are. Okay, we've got a worldwide audience, those of us online, that we can be tapping into, but they're not actively sitting on social media just waiting for a practitioner to scroll past. That's not where they are. Focus on being found in the places that they are. Okay. And remember that they're actively searching for solutions in certain places, such as Google. Okay. They're Googling for solutions. So how can you show up in the spaces where they're actively researching and searching for solutions? It's time to stop chasing the algorithms, okay, because the algorithms just make it harder and harder for us. Social media is not our friend, so let's use it for what it's worth. Let's put it in the priority bag back a little bit, okay, because it doesn't deserve so much focus and so much attention when it's not giving us the outcomes that we're looking for. As we wrap up today, you, my friend, have permission to quit social media. Quit social media. If it is not serving your practice, if it is not bringing in clients, if it is taking too much of your time and too much of your energy, you can quit social media. I guarantee putting other things in places will bring you in more clients anyway. So I hope this episode has given you a few points that you can work on and a few actions you can take away. It's been great to have you here, and I look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Have a great week.